Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back once again to Avenger Pretenders. That's right, the geek and the redneck, we are back once again. This time, we're going to play around with a little bit of what if Avenger Pretenders never existed? You would be bored on Monday night. But anyway, do us a favor. Grab yourself your favorite adult beverage or whatever it is you want to drink. Sit back in your nice, cozy little chair and get ready to have some fun with the redneck and the geek. Mr. Sully, it's all yours.
Oh, why, thank you, sir. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Avenger Pretenders, the show where we basically talk about anything and everything Marvel, including movies and TV shows, because, well, hey, we can do that. And yes, I know I'm not wearing a Marvel shirt today. I'm sorry, guys.
I got mine on.
JT's got his on. That's all that matters. I didn't choose the right white shirt. I chose Mario instead, which is perfectly fine because, you know.
Yeah. Let's just slide this time.
Yeah, geekish. But yes, as JT mentioned, we will be talking about What If Season 2 Episodes 1 and 2 today. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. That's right. First two episodes, because why not? Disney and Marvel messed everything up for me anyway. So we're going to get right down to the nitty gritty. This wonderful series. Oh my God. This series, amazing. It's amazing.
I will say this. If episodes 1 and 2, okay, say anything about episodes 3 through 9, you better strap yourself in twice. Because this is going to be one hell of a ride.
Agreed.
Just, I mean, if you thought Loki was out of this world, you know, to play on words, but it's the only way I could think of describing it.
Out of this world. I mean, that's, you know, you're not wrong.
Well, yeah, but, you know, not in the literal terms, but in the whole shit factor terms, okay? 1 and 2 have set up 3 through 9 to blow Loki away.
True.
That's the only way I can see it, because I'm sitting here going, man, I thought freaking Loki was weird.
And wasn't it awesome to begin with? It really was. It was like really, really good.
So, you know, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens as we continue down this road that Marvel has named What If.
Indeed.
So let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Let's rock and roll. The first episode, oh, I love the name. I love that they brought her to the forefront of this, is What If Nebula joined the Nova Corps? Now, for those that have not been keeping track, if you don't know who the Nova Corps is, go back and watch Guardians of the Galaxy, because they are the space police, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
it took me a little bit to remember too exactly who they were.
Oh, it did.
It was actually the head lady of Nova Corps that clued me in as for some reason when I saw her one time. It just clicked. Wait a minute, I know who that is. Real quick, I do want to say hi to our good friends and great punchers and big fans, Nakaya and Laserman, who are both in the chat room with us right now.
Woo woo! Awesome sauce. Thanks for tuning in as always. Because you know what? We love when you guys can come in and comment on and have fun with us. So in this episode, this universe, this multiverse, we're in a world where Ronan killed Thanos, betrayed him, killed him, took him out. Way before everything in Infinity War. And because of that, Nebula went to the Nova Corps and, was, quote, saved, so to speak.
Well,
by
I mean,
Nova
the way
Prime.
they started out, it's like she was floating in almost purgatory. You know, it's like she's
Well,
just floating there
yeah,
with
she was floating in
no
space.
purpose, no story, no anything. And then, Nova Corps came along and said, "Hey,
Yeah.
take my hand."
Take my hand and have some fun with us, because you're going to enjoy things. That's how we roll, Just, putting it out
I
there.
kind of look at it as the repatriation thing that they did in Star Wars, where they were, bringing the people who were on the dark side
Oh, yeah, when they were part of
back
the
over.
Empire and doing the rehabilitation of things.
There you go.
I got
There
it.
you go.
I got you. I see where you're going from. I see where you're coming from,
It takes me a minute and I stumble over the words, but eventually I get there.
Yeah. What I really liked about this episode
Mm-hmm.
was that we see Nebula part of the Nova Corps, and she's investigating the death of Yondu on Xandar, but also bringing everybody up to speed on what has happened with Ronan taking out Thanos, attacking Xandar, and Xandar's Nova Prime going into basically trying to save everybody by initiating a force field.
Right.
But the problem with that is nobody can leave. Nobody can get in, nobody can leave. And
Right.
when she's there seeing Yondu murdered right there on the ground, Garthan Saul, which if you guys don't remember who Garthan Saul is, he is one of the head Nova Corps officers.
Mm-hmm.
He was the one that died in Guardians of the Galaxy when Ronan's ship was caught in the Nova net with all the other officers in their ships trying to keep him at bay. So
Right.
you kind of get like a corrupt cop feel from this guy, which is, it happens.
And not necessarily a corrupt cop, but just a shitty one.
Yeah. Like, all right.
One that's been through the ringer and he's seen the good and the bad, 90%
Yeah.
of the bad, and it's just given him a real attitude.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't like anybody kind of
Agreed.
feel to him.
Agreed. And that's okay.
Mhm.
Because it's, like I said, it's part of a different multiverse. Things happen differently. And
Right.
Garthan flat out said that, it looked like whoever was doing it, it's Yondu. He's a career criminal. He's done this and done that and so on and so forth, And we'll get into what Yondu has done in other multiverses at a later
Right.
date. Because,
It's almost like he was saying he deserved it.
yeah, it was kind of like that. Like, yeah, okay, he's a career criminal. We know what he's been up to. Got what was coming for him,
Exactly.
No milk spilled under my watch type of thing. The table's completely dry, whatever. So
Right.
he orders his men to scrub the scene and gives them a time limit of an hour. So that really
Figured out within an hour.
that doesn't give Nebula a lot of time, because she's like, oh, so you cracked the case already? You know who did it?
Right.
And then he goes into the, well, hey, Miss former Black Order person. And she's like, yeah, but I took an oath.
I earned my stripes.
Earned
Just
my
like you
stripes, working hard, day in,
Just like-
day out.
I like the way she said it though. That's like, hey, you know what? I earned my stripes just like you did.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shut up.
Absolutely.
Kissing my pretty little cyborg ass.
Absolutely. So, with that, he says, you got a problem? Do you have a problem? And she's like, well, Xandar's got a lot of problems. First of all, nobody can leave. Everybody's going crazy.
Mm.
It's kind of like being that kid that is grounded, but
Yeah,
cannot
to
leave
your room.
like cannot leave the room, and you have to stay in the corner and put your head in the corner like a Gen Xer. But
Yeah,
you
can't
can't
play
move.
with your
If you
Xbox,
move,
can't
so
play with
help.
your Game Boy or your Twitch or any of that stuff.
Right. So then when the Watcher comes into play and tells them, tells everybody about the quest for redemption that Nebula is having. You know,
Mm-hmm.
every person has that redemption type arc. I mean, look at Tony Stark. Tony Stark's redemption was he was a warmonger. He really was. That's
And
how he made
died
his
in
fortune.
war.
Right, and now he's not. But in this universe, because Ronan betrayed Thanos, and because he, the thirst for power basically poisoned Thanos, he used that as his in to take him out. You know?
Mm-hmm.
But then we get that noir feeling because now Nebula's narrating a lot of what's going on.
Yeah.
How she was lost adrift, Nova Prime and saved her and all that. So you're getting that gumshoe feeling to this episode from it. And then as we see things, she goes to Nova headquarters, and as Nebula's narrating, I swore an oath, blah, blah, blah. But little does she know, things are going to happen.
Right.
This is not the first thing.
Right. But before she goes to the headquarters, she waits for them to leave the scene.
Yes.
And she's commenting, during this, and she's like, they spent all their time looking for the killer's weapon.
Yes.
When they should have been looking for the victims.
Yes.
And at first, I didn't know what she was talking about. But
really?
and throughout this entire episode, it would take me a bit to place the different characters.
Okay.
But then it would click. Well, as soon as she goes over and she's playing this video memory of him.
Right.
Doing the little whistle, and all of a sudden, tweet, here comes the flying freaking arrow.
Yeah.
And she found the victim's weapon.
Yeah.
And then it as she's walking to the car, I don't think she pressed a button or anything. If she did, I didn't catch it. But it's like she's just walking along, and all of a sudden the arrow sensed that it wasn't him, and it exposed the video of this thing. It almost looked like a map of the Death Star.
Yes. So
like you saw in Star Wars and stuff.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because I had absolutely no idea that arrow could store information in it.
Me either.
Had
Obviously, I wouldn't if you didn't, but
And obviously, when it comes to this episode, again, it's a multiverse, so things are different. So the fact that she got the Yaka arrow almost killed her, but it didn't, because she's part cyborg. At least once she activated it, she was able to go, okay, I'm gonna need help on this.
Right. Yeah, and she went in her car, and she took off, and she ran the schematics through the system
and couldn't find anything.
Nothing on the records, nothing on international records or anything like that. Nothing on the database at all about it. So she's like, well, I'm going to need help with this. But then she gets a phone call.
Yes.
Dolly.
Well, the phone call itself is from Nova Prime. Because even Nova Prime is like, no, something's not right here.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing about this particular scene is when she's talking with Nova Prime and they're catching up, they're doing their little thing that they do. She's flat out telling her, you need to solve this crime. You need to figure out what's going on. You're the one. There's something going on that you need to be the person to fix this and find out.
By what?
By
any
any means necessary. Now, with that being said, this is where I kind of went, she's a bad guy.
See, and I never got that. I never got that.
But if you think about all the movies, and it doesn't even matter if it's Marvel, Disney, anything from you name it. When the supposed good guy says you need to be the one to do this by any means necessary, you know they're crooked. You just know they're a crooked cop or something.
Yeah, it should have clicked. It should have, but my brain was too confused trying to place everybody. And the one thing I found interesting during their conversation, besides her saying by any means necessary, was how she described Windu. Because she says he was a bad egg.
Windu is Star Wars.
You know I'm terrible at names anyway.
There's a clip that.
But she said he was a bad egg, but basically he wasn't that bad.
No, well, yeah, he had good intentions. I mean, think about it. He's a Ravager, so the Ravagers have their own code that they go by. Yes, they rob, they steal, they do all these crimes. They're basically mercenaries for hire, that type of thing. But one of the main things that they've always talked about in the first two Guardians movies was they never take a job involving kids. Never. Which is where Yondu had that problem with Peter Quill. But if it wasn't for him picking up Quill and keeping him for himself and not delivering him to Ego, different things could have happened, which we'll get into later. Different story. But he had good intentions. And in this case, because he was trapped on Xandar, he had different intentions going on. We know this. So Nebula says she owes it to herself, to her and to Nova Prime to see this through. Which makes sense. Nova Prime gave her that second option. Hey, listen, you can either go to jail or be one of us. We helped you, we saved you, you're alive because of us. Come on in, have some fun, be a Nova Corps, good to go. So the other thing that we didn't mention is this phone call was switched to a quote secure line, which means it wasn't recorded by anybody except Nebula.
Right.
Because anything Nebula does, she automatically remembers and it gets stored in her brain, in her microprocessors. So there's the conversation. There's evidence right there. So when she said that Xandar was on the brink of collapse, because it really is, everybody's basically like the worst of the worst is getting brought out on people because they've been locked under this force field for 5 years.
God knows how long.
5 years. Well, they say it, 5 years. I mean, 5 years in isolation, right. Nobody can come and go. So, yeah, things are going to get a little crazy. The once peaceful Xandar is going to be full of crime. It's going to be chaos. The mob is going to be like, hey, I'm big here. Something's going to happen. But Nova Prime is saying, well, Yondu got himself caught up in this, so you have until dawn to finish, figure this out. Not a lot of time.
Yeah, she's like, I don't think the planet has until, I don't think it'll make it past morning.
Yeah.
That's a pretty, bleak way to look at things.
Yeah. But again, if you look at it correctly, bad guy. Hey, just so you know, the world's going to end in the morning. You got to fix this before it does. Bad guy. Bad guy. So Nebula tells her that she found something, which was great. She found evidence, but she didn't tell her what the evidence was. Just that she found something at the crime scene and she wanted to investigate it further. And Nova Prime said, use your instincts. Use your instincts.
Right.
Do everything by any means necessary and go from there.
I gave you the stars before. Now you have them again. Something along those lines.
Let's see. Gave her the stars and she was also told to follow them. Follow them.
Yep.
So
Follow the stars.
makes sense. Makes sense. So she does just that. She goes and she goes to a wonderful casino owned by none other than Howard the Duck.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, that freaking duck again.
Korg is a bartender at this casino. And she says, hey, where is he? Oh, it's at the high roller table. But warns her that he doesn't want to be disturbed when he's on a streak. And she's like, I don't care. She goes and does it anyway.
Well, it's Nebula. She's going to do whatever else she wants to, pretty much.
Of course. So while she's there, she asks Howard how business was. And he said to her that the world's falling apart. I'm running a casino. Things are going great, which is true.
Right.
It reflects the world today. You know, what happens when people's worlds are falling apart? They're getting drunk and they're gambling. Because you never know. And again, it's not everybody, folks. It's not everybody. But it happens. It reflects the way the world is. You know?
It's the good majority.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah. So she basically kicks everybody out of the table. Howard's like, all right, girls, go. Get out of here. After all is said and done, she shows him the schematics. I want to say hi to Quadratic Psychotic. Love that name. Oh, that is a great name. Seriously. I love it.
I'm glad you said it because I sure as hell wasn't going to try.
Oh, come on, JT. You could say it. You could say it.
No.
Quadratic Psychotic. Come on, say it. You
nope,
got it.
I only get clipped once a night and you already did, so.
That's true. Well, I mean, Lady Death didn't really capture the clip, but I got it. It's all good. So anyway, if you're just joining us, we're talking about episode 1 of What If Season 2, What If Nebula joined the Nova Corps. So yay. It's an old account. Well, I love the account. That's a great name. I think you should use it all the time. Just saying. Just saying. So she shows him the map of the schematics, and she goes, "What is this? What are these schematics? What are they for?" And Howard kind of does a, I don't know.
Oh.
Schematics.
I like what she said, though. She said, you know everything.
Yeah.
Anything that goes on this planet, you know it.
You know what's
going
this? On. You know what's going on. And it's funny because one, Taika Waititi returned to voice Korg, and rightfully so, because Korg is Korg. You know, you can't have Taika Waititi without Korg, you know? So after he delivers drinks to them, he goes, "Oh, that's an old city mainframe core."
Right.
Just boom, right off the top of his head.
Yeah, rattles us off like it's nothing.
Yeah.
And Howard the Duck is like, how in the hell do you know that?
Right? But
hey,
he also
I'm
says,
more than just a pretty face.
He also says it's a unit B-42. Now, true story, while we were watching this, Christy goes, "Did he just say B-52? I said, no, 42. B-42. Not the band. Not the band. So,
right.
Korg then goes, as they're saying that, Korg said he didn't think that there were many left on Xandar. And then she's like, well, how do you guys know this? And Korg just flat out says, oh, he knows. I know a lot of things.
Hmm. I'm more than just a pretty face.
Which I love that line, to be honest. I really do. I
Yeah.
love that line. So she asks him about the data core, and Korg just starts rambling off like a hodgepodge of things, listing items after item, could be anything. And then he says something about a what was it, a source code shield generator, I think it was. Quadratic Psychotic says 42, the meaning of life, the universe, and everything. Yes, Douglas Adams. Love it. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Yes, we are dorks here. Although I don't know if JT knew that. Did you know that?
Nope.
It's okay, JT. I still love you, man.
That's why I'm the redneck.
It's true. It's very true. So, Nebula does that whole putting two and two together that somebody is trying to take down the planetary shield, which makes sense. That's what the issue is,
Right.
That's the issue of, okay, someone's trying to get out of here. Who is it? Why are they doing it? So on and so forth. And I just lost JT. JT disappeared. When he told me he's got to reboot Discord, something happened. But I'm just going to continue on. So when she figures out that it's the mainframe to destroy it, you got to get the codes and all that good stuff. And that's where things start happening. Bad things start happening.
Oh, no, not bad thing.
Oh, yes, bad things. But, and I stress the but, Nebula was given permission to figure this out by any means necessary. Any means necessary.
Gotta love those words.
So she goes to the Xandarian Correctional Facility. Why not? Why not go to prison? Because she decides that she's going to enlist the help of Jan Rog. Now, for those that don't remember who Jan Rog is, you need to go back and watch Captain Marvel. Yep, I said it. You need to go back and watch Captain Marvel, because Jan Rog was played by Jude Law, who was the main bad guy next to Ronin's cameo in Captain Marvel. The Kree and the Skrull and all that good shit.
Mm-hmm.
He's the idiot. So, with that being said, she told him that she needed someone who knew their way around the system. Why not him? He knew his way around the system, that's for sure. That's why he was in there.
That's what she busted him for.
Man, yep. Once a hacker, always a hacker, and you're in trouble, mister. You're in trouble. So, she breaks him out. Breaks him out of prison. Yep.
It wasn't shall we say, the smoothest breakout,
No, definitely not.
or the quietest breakout,
Well,
by any means. It was, well, what are you gonna do? Just walk up to the front door and kick it down? That's pretty much what that was.
yes. Alarms going. They're on the run. They do escape, which is good. They do escape. But they also
Right.
get to the point of getting to where the source code is. They have to go underwater, all this good stuff to get past everything in order to do what they need to do. And the only way to do that in this case was for Nebula to, I don't think I would say bond with the system, but certainly,
Connect. She needs to connect.
Yeah, connect and download and upload and basically make a wonderful connection with this computer.
Psycho says like 100 doors, the game.
Yes, very similar. Very similar. Well, as she's downloading the source code and it gets completed, Jan Rog betrays her, surprise, surprise, and plugs in a USB port into her head and downloads everything too.
That was so cool.
That was, and I mean,
That was. I mean, visions of oh, what the hell was it? Was it Hunger Games? Or was it the other one, Mockingbird?
Well,
one of those two.
Well, I mean, it's the same.
Yeah, okay. There was two of them, but the one where they've got all the wires hooked up to her and shit, and she's like floating in midair, and they're using it to unlock the 5 portals and all that. Anyway,
yeah,
it reminded me of that.
Yeah, Quadratic Psychotic says sugar plums. No, not sugar plums.
Very, very spicy.
That's
sugar plums.
That's a spicy meatball.
That's a spicy ass meatball for sure.
Yep. So he escapes after betraying her and downloading the source code, but now she's on the run because now she's almost gonna die. Things are attacking her, and an explosion happens, but she does survive. She survives the blast. Lucky
because the core blew it up.
Lucky for her, she survived the blast. And that's when she kind of realized that it was a whole setup from the beginning. Clearly, when someone betrays you, you kind of got to put 2 and 2 together and go, well, shit.
Oh, if somebody betrays you, you automatically say, okay, that is one dead fucker right there.
Or they do the, well, I'm sheepish.
Yeah, fool me once.
Right. So, this is where she kind of does the whole, okay, the Nova, that there's going to be some type of an invasion, and Nova Prime is the reason. She's the turncoat, so to speak. So after she realizes all of this, Nebula says that she took an oath to defend Xandar. Makes sense. She did.
This was after falling off a giant cliff and landing on her face.
Absolutely. And it gets.
Let's say hi to Bunky.
Mr. Bunky, what up, sir? How are you? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in and joining as always.
Yes. You're a day early though.
It's okay. He can be a day early.
I didn't say it was a bad thing. I just said he's early.
How dare you?
He's either late for this show or he's really early for tomorrow.
Also true. So, hey, Bunky, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. We're talking about episode 1 of What If season 2. And we get to the part where, Nova Prime says, hey, she's a machine. She did exactly what she expected her to do. Let's take her out. Take her out. Right. Do what you got to do. Take her out. Gets her ass kicked. And then kicks everybody else's ass because, she's a machine.
And this is when it's revealed of just how long Nova Prime has been a bad guy.
Yeah.
Because she's like, I'm sitting here and I had to have, a cyborg in order to be able to interface with the core.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden I remembered, hey, wait a minute. I recruited one.
Right. Like, hey, genius. Oh, duh.
Hey.
I'm a dude.
We have the key right here in our house.
Yeah, look at that.
How handy.
I've got a human jump drive. I mean, what?
Right.
So, after her beatdown and escape, she arrives at Howard's casino again, and we see This personally, this was the greatest comedic scene I've seen in What If. Howard the Duck and Korg are playing rock, paper, scissors.
Right.
I thought it was
Is
great.
Groot playing too? I don't remember if Groot was playing too or not.
No,
He was
I
there.
I don't
He was
think
there.
Groot,
I don't remember if he was playing though.
Yeah, I don't think Groot was actually playing, but he was there. Uh, so obviously they see that she's all injured, and Howard says, "I told you so."
Right.
Howard basically said, I would say I told you so, but your head's bashed in.
Your head's bashed in. You're missing half an arm. You're
falling apart,
you're really
man.
messed up there, Miss Nebula.
You're falling apart. So Nebula says she's fine, but she needed a drink, guns, and an arm. In that order.
Right.
Drink, guns, arm. And Korg said, and I love this line, "I can hear your processors clicking."
Right.
So they put her down, they put her to sleep, and they repair her, which, why not? Why not? She's already battered and beaten, but since she's cyborg, Korg and Howard can fix anything, which is a good thing.
I guess she stands up, pushes the arm on the slot machine down, and shorts her out for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
As she hits the jackpot,
And
machine pays out. And what does the duck say?
Howard says that shouldn't have been paid out.
These aren't supposed to pay out.
Making money. Money. I do like that they got Seth Green back to do his voice,
Right.
because he did his voice in the Guardians movies, all 3 Guardian movies. And I think he did his voice for season 1, if I remember, where Howard made a cameo in one of the episodes. I forgot which one it was, but I love that they just got Seth Green back. So from there, Nebula tells them, "Hey, listen, guys, here's the deal that's going on. I need guns. I need guns, and now." And Howard's like, that would be bad for business. I'm not going to do that. No way.
Well, and he's like, well, I wouldn't have any, military style powerful, weapons or anything like that. And if I did, if I broke them out,
Yeah.
that would be really bad for business.
Yeah. Bad.
I
for
love
business.
Nebula's counter, though.
Oh, her counter was great. It was, how would you like me to remove your liquor license? Oh, you need these guns. Here you go.
What do you say? Rock, paper, scissors. It's time to roll. or
Time
something
to
like
roll.
that.
Strap up. Strap up. I love that line. Strap up. So from there, we cut to Nova Prime. We cut to the headquarters of the Nova Corps. And Garth and Saul and Nova Prime are all in the same room. All the people that are loyal to Nova Prime are in the same room. And there's a lot of bodies. Lot of bodies.
Yeah, and you heard the neat little whistles and
Yeah. Yeah. You
can't
hear
whistle.
all of that stuff. And Nova Prime said, wipe them all out. Make sure it's just our team,
Mhm.
And
Got them all.
after they did that, she also said that they promised Ronan that she would have the shield open by dawn.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when Nebula comes walking in. Only I loved her outfit with this, because she took Yondu's fin and put it on her head, and she was
Yeah,
able to
that was
control
cool as
that
hell.
arrow. No problem.
Yeah, it was cool as hell.
Oh, that was amazing that she did that. So,
Mhm.
yay. We got to see the arrow back in action again. But she says, "Hey, you're too late, bitch." She didn't say bitch, but you know what I mean. You're too
Right.
late. The world's over now. A new universe.
You took an oath to protect the planet.
Mm-hmm. 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 And that's when
To a point.
that's when the shield starts opening up, and we can see Ronan's ship starting to fly in and enter the shield. But then the shield starts to close. And after it starts to close, it destroys Ronan's ship right then and there.
The timing of that was amazing.
Perfect.
And I don't know if it was, in all reality, if it was purely coincidental
Oh,
that the ship got that far, just that certain far in before it started closing, or, if it was, if Nebula primed it that way or what. But that was really, you have to admit, the timing of that was really freaking good.
yeah. Well, this was the clue for Nova Prime saying, hey, wait a minute, you double-crossed me, you wench. But that's when Nebula said, no.
Yep.
You double-crossed me.
That triple cross.
Yes. Because she saw Jan Rog's move a mile away. She knew he was going to do that. But that's when Nova Prime said, how did you know? And Nebula said, you told me to solve the Yondu case by any means necessary.
Yeah. And she emphasizes the fact that you took an oath.
Yep.
To follow the path, or never stray from the path.
Yep. Absolutely.
And then you told me to solve this by any means necessary.
Yeah.
That's when I knew.
That's when I knew. And Nebula then goes and says, I'm taking you all in. However, it didn't work out that way, did it? It's always
not
bloodshed.
Really. Not really.
Always bloodshed.
Always bloodshed. You always have to have the chase scene. And granted, this is the second chase scene.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Of the episode.
Yes.
But this one was a lot neater, in my opinion, than the first one.
Yeah. So when Nebula said, hey, come here, take my hand, Nova Prime said, why didn't you join me? And she refers to the oath again. I took an oath.
Mm-hmm.
I took an oath.
Well, but that's
that.
one thing that is very consistent with Nebula, though. You think back to, all the movies and everything before.
Yeah.
Her loyalty, when she gives that expression of, my loyalty to you.
Yes.
She sticks to it.
Oh, absolutely.
You look at everything in the with Thanos.
Yeah.
Or Thanos. Yeah, and all that. So that is her character.
Yeah, because
which I thought was good.
If you think about it, okay, and this is just to go along with exactly what you said. She was a diehard believer that Thanos was doing the right thing and getting the Infinity Stones to delete half of life in the universe.
Right.
She was a believer. That was her father. I wanted to please my dad.
Yep.
But that changed in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, when her and Gamora started bonding more after they tried to kill each other.
Right.
And Nebula even said to her, I wanted a sister, not a general next to me, not, a buddy. I wanted my sister.
Right.
That was the start. But then Thanos killed Gamora.
Yep.
And that's when Nebula went, you mother. That was my sister. I just got her back. How dare you take her from me? And boom, ballistic, which is why she joined the Avengers.
Yep.
It really is. That's why she joined the Avengers in Infinity War and in Endgame, because that's what happened. That man killed her sister. All ties gone. Same thing happens here. Nova Prime gave gave her the option to join the Nova Corps. She gave it her all and took an oath. She cannot betray that.
Right. I give you my all until you screw me.
Yeah.
Or until you break the oath that I gave.
So from there, Nebula's trying to save her to bring her in. Hey, give me your hand. And instead, Nova Prime decides, I'm going to do the old switcheroo and decide to try and shoot you anyway. And she falls out of the building. And
the gunshot caused the one hand that she was able to hold on with.
Yeah.
Caused that hand to come off.
Yep. Bye. You idiot. So
it's like, well, as I was watching it tonight, as she was falling, we're like, if you were a cyborg, you might survive that fall.
Yeah. Yeah. But in the long run, from there, Uatu, also known as the Watcher, comes back on and narrating that, the quests for redemption can begin in darkness. But with a little grit and a little faith, and if you keep the path, they can find their way to the light. Which, to be honest, that is a great quote. It really is.
It is.
And then, of course, Howard showed up and, hey, thanks. And the first thing she says is, don't worry, your liquor license is safe.
Right.
Your liquor license.
And all he says is, mwah. He just quacks at her.
And the best part is, he also said, not bad for a night's work. And that was it. That was the end. He walks out and the episode ends.
Right.
All in all, great episode. Great episode. I loved the noir feeling to it. I loved that old school, like, detective, private eye type thing. And not for nothing, you got most of your original cast back. So Jeffrey Wright is Uatu. He does amazing as the Watcher, by the way. Karen Gillan. Nebula, she's amazing. I loved her in Doctor Who. I will always love her. She's a great actress. Jude Law reprised his role as Yon-Rogg. Michael Rooker was Yondu. Seth Green was Howard the Duck. Taika Waititi, Korg. The only difference was Julianne Grossman played Nova Prime. And Fred Tatasciore was Groot and Drax. Because you saw them in the background. Uncredited. But otherwise, the guy who played Denarian Garthan Saul, he reprised his role too. So you had most of your original cast from Guardians of the Galaxy and Captain Marvel in here, which was amazing. Amazing. So now, since this is a What If episode, we do our rating system a little bit differently.
Question marks.
Yes. How many question marks would you give this episode? To me, because I love that old school Private Eye setting. I loved the callbacks. I loved the little cameos in the background of the bar. Drax, Groot, and Groot played a role in the attack too. I personally give this episode 4 question marks. Very well written, very well done. The animation was stellar. And I mean stellar.
Right.
And I love that they changed the way things happened in this multiverse with Thanos already being dead and Ronan being the one to be like, no, I want these stones, and he dies anyway.
Right.
What do you give it, my friend?
I'm about 3.25.
Oh, 3.25. Okay.
3.25. It I struggled a little bit too much to remember characters and personalities of characters and all this. It was a good show. I enjoyed it. It to me it dragged
Really?
for about the 10 minutes in the middle of the episode.
Okay.
It kind of dragged. It wasn't bad. It wasn't terrible, but I could definitely tell that I was sitting there for 30 minutes
Okay. All right.
for this episode. But it didn't make it a bad episode. It was a good episode. I enjoyed it. The graphics were amazing. The storyline was great. Like you, I really enjoy the fact that they took the whole Thanos storyline and everything and blew it the hell up,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and all of that and everything. But it to me, I just had to think a little bit too much. And for me that detracts a little bit from the episode. But I did like it. I truly enjoyed it.
So
It's not a bad 3.25.
right.
So
So I think, and maybe I'm wrong on this. It's just my opinion and what I know of you. You're not big into like the detective type shows.
It depends on the story. It depends on the story. I did enjoy the detective, gumshoe
The
kind
noir.
of feel that this one had. I did enjoy that.
Okay.
I think they could have brought that out a little bit more, maybe during the show
That cat
or
is
in the episode, right?
you.
But I mean, overall, I truly enjoyed the show. I really did.
Awesome.
So.
Well, with that being said, we're going to go right into episode 2, which is why I couldn't say much, because I had to tie it together somehow, because episode 2 of What If is what if Peter Quill attacked Earth's mightiest heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, if you did not see Guardians of the Galaxy, what rock are you living under? Because prominent role, you need to know what has happened already in order to kind of get where we're going with this one. Because let's face it, Yondu took Peter Quill at a young age after his mother died to bring him back to Ego, and Yondu went, screw that.
Right. Oh, 1 second
Yes.
before we go any further. I failed to mention that Nikaya, our secret team member here,
Yes.
she gave it 4 question marks for the episode.
Hey, look at that. We're on the same page. 2-1.
You know me.
No, I'm only kidding.
You know me. I go to a different drum.
It is true. You do. So, in this universe, as Uatu is stating, in 1998, when Yondu abducted Peter Quill, it got to the point of, well, do I keep him for myself or do I turn him over to Ego? And in this multiverse, he gave him to Ego. He gave him back. And Ego is still doing the, hey, I need to plant the seeds all over so everything is me thing from Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And instead what he's doing is he's using his son to help with the expansion.
Mm-hmm.
So after 6 months, the ship, Ego's ship, is seen coming back to Earth, and it crash lands in New York City.
Of course. Where else would it land? New Buffalo?
Well, I mean, Marvel is in New York. New York plays a
That's what I
huge
said.
role.
Where else is it going to land?
Exactly.
Des Moines, Iowa?
You have to. You have to.
Exactly.
But the interesting thing is when it crash lands, it's shortly after this Earth's version of the Chitauri attack. So the Avengers were already formed, only it's a little bit of a different team this time.
Right.
So, interesting stuff right now. Interesting stuff. But it's also, There's a lot of different elements. So Peggy Carter is older. She's older. She's not Captain Carter in this. She's just Peggy Carter. And she's working with S.H.I.E.L.D. It is what it is. She's working with S.H.I.E.L.D. Howard Stark's working with S.H.I.E.L.D. They're the ones who developed S.H.I.E.L.D. They're the ones that brought S.H.I.E.L.D. into existence. They are the founders. And they say, hey, we need to get our heads out of the ass and put a team together.
We have a radioactive kid blowing shit up in New York City, headed to what was it? Coney Island.
Well, yes, he was in Coney Island, but he was heading to Missouri. I know,
but at that point, he was headed to Coney Island. They didn't know he was going to Missouri yet.
Right. So from there, though, Howard reaches out to Hank Pym, who, if you remember from Ant-Man, not the exact person you want to reach out to because, hey, he already pissed him off. And as soon as he hears Howard Stark's voice, he hangs up on him.
Right.
Just click, hangs up.
Don't hang up, click.
But once they call him back and he answers again, he's ready to like, hey, no. He says, turn on the news. Just turn on the news. I love when
Dad.
How many movies or TV shows do you have that cliche, turn on the news? Yeah.
Right.
It always happens in some way, shape, or form. So once he says turn on the news, you hear Hope go, hey, Dad?
Yeah. You might want to see that.
Yeah. And he goes, I'm in. Oh, by the way, I need to bring Hope with me. So, yeah.
Actually, he just said, send me the plane.
Already 7 steps ahead of you.
Right. And then, hey, Hope, do you want to go to work with Daddy?
Want to go work with Dad? It'll be fun. It's bring your daughter to work day. Yep. Mm-hmm. So from there, they head over to the Joint Dark Energy Mission Facility. Whew. It was a mouthful even when I read it. I'm like, you can't even come up with like an anagram for S.H.I.E.L.D. with that one? Like, come on here. Well, that's where they meet other members of the team. Bill Foster, played by Lawrence Fishburne, and yes, they did get Lawrence Fishburne to reprise his role, as well as Michael Douglas, as well as Haley Atwell, as well as John Slattery, because why not? Why not? And I'm pretty sure they all went, yeah, I'll be a part of it. It's the easiest job ever. You get into a sound booth and you do the voice. Well, they also got, what was it? T'Chaka. That was T'Challa's father. So the king of the Wakanda. And the Soviet Union at the time sends the Winter Soldier. Because, hey, there's a kid blowing up the world. We want in on this.
Well, the excuse was they wanted him destroyed before he got to them.
Yes. So that's why they sent him. So, Peggy is a little shocked, clearly. And Howard Stark's like, just remember, he's no longer the man you knew. He's that's not him. So no.
Well, and her visceral reaction.
Yes.
When he walked out from the shadows.
Yes.
She literally was shocked and gasped.
Yes. Big time. Big time. And it's like, what? What are you doing? Well, I'm looking to see. There was one other person. I don't think they mention her. Nope, they don't. But The rest of the team includes people we've already seen before. Thor, Chris Hemsworth reprised his role for Thor, and you know, obviously with Winter Soldier, you know, he's there. So, what's his name there? Sebastian Stan reprised his role for that, and we also had the young Hope Van Dyne, who's now kind of, you know, hey, what are we going to do type thing, right? So,
Right. Well, and the other thing that we have to remember, and I had to keep reminding myself of this during the episode, was that we are in the year 1988
yes, way
for this
before
episode.
the original Avengers movies.
Exactly. So, you know, way back in time, you know, when Quill was a child
Yep.
and Hope was a child,
Yep.
you know, and everybody else was young except for the lady because, well, she was already
Yes.
old when she came in.
But we also had Wendy Lawson. Now, if you don't remember who Wendy Lawson is, you have to go back and watch Captain Marvel because she is Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Not Susan Sarandon. Was it? No. Who was it? Annette Bening? Annette Bening. Pretty sure it was Annette
Yeah.
Bening.
Something like that.
Played yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Annette Bening who played her. But she's in it. She's leading the team with her Asus aircraft, which just so happens to be the same aircraft they were using in Captain Marvel. Full circle. But she takes the team to Coney Island where they're watching Quill have fun. He's being a kid. People are running around like crazy, but he's being a kid. And at that point, Ant-Man, Black Panther, and Goliath are going to try and subdue him. While Wendy Lawson, also known as Marvel, analyzing the ship, making sure it's not a threat, so on and so forth. And that's when Thor shows up and knocks him out.
After they get their asses kicked.
Oh yeah. They got their asses so bad.
You got to mention that they got their asses whipped,
handed
you
to
know. I mean, they chopped the freaking head off of the raccoon stuffy doll that he got that he really liked, and they pissed him off. You killed my dead raccoon.
Yeah, you messed with my toy. How dare you?
I love what they did with the cotton candy, though. I love how they got things rolling and got him off of the tilt-a-whirl.
Yes.
To try to get him into the trap that they had set to capture him.
Which honestly, it was a decent trap, but it wasn't the greatest.
It was. Well, it was, but they didn't know what they were up against.
True. And that's when Thor knocks out Quill and says to them, I've been traveling around the 9 realms, and this little douche is the reason everything is all destroyed and in an uproar. Right. And that's when he also tells them
he's the reason why the only realm left is Earth.
Yes. Because he destroyed all the others. Because he was having fun. But he told everybody about the celestial seedlings that Ego planted not just in Missouri, but around the universe.
Right.
So he even said he's using Quill to help with the expansion. So while the adults are talking, that's what I like to say is the adults are talking. Go away. Hope starts to bond with Quill in captivity. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, you know.
And what was it? What was it that caused? It was a very interesting thing that caused that instant bond between the two of them.
Oh, you mean the Walkman? The same Walkman that Ego destroyed not only in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, but in this universe, he destroyed it at the beginning of the episode. You're not going to need this anymore, and he crushed it.
Yep. What a dick.
Right? Total dick move. You know? So
Dick
what
move.
so what she does is this was brilliant for her, by the way. She used the Pym particles to free Quill from
Mhm.
from captivity and help him get to Missouri, but also gave him her Walkman
Yep.
as a gift so he could use it and stay calm and do whatever he needs to. And she's the voice of reason, because now
Yeah.
the adults are all up in arms because obviously the alarms are going off. They're like,
You let
what
him
did
go."
you do? Why'd you do this? What the hell's wrong with you? You're grounded. And she goes, he's just
This
a
is why you
kid."
don't bring your damn kid to work.
Yeah, well, yeah, to an extent. But at the same time, I understand her point of
Mm-hmm.
he's
Yeah.
just a kid. He's trying to be
Well,
a kid. He doesn't want
it-
to help his dad.
Right. And the other thing is he's not the one doing this.
Right. He's not.
He's not the one doing this.
It's something bigger. Something bigger than all of us combined.
Because as that's happening, and he's trying to get to Missouri, alarms start going off again, and Ego arrives on Earth. He arrives on Earth to finish the expansion himself, landing right outside the SHIELD facility.
Right.
And of course, obviously the other voice of reason here is T'Chaka saying, we need to get his son against him because that's going to help.
Right.
That's going to help out.
The best way to fight a two-front war is to get out of the enemy's way.
Yes. And
That was an old saying
yes.
for them.
But he also made a very good point of, oh, by the way, we can't fight two Celestials at once. Just saying. Putting it out there, painting the picture for you. Well, that gets Thor, Black Panther, Goliath, and the rest of S.H.I.E.L.D. to confront Ego, while Ant-Man and Wendy Lawson try to locate Quill and tries to get him on their side. And this was such an interesting scene. I felt the heartstrings being pulled on this one, because we already know Peter Quill's mom is dead, and when he gets to Missouri, they find him at her grave.
Yep.
Okay. So from there, while they're fighting Ego, and I mean they are fighting Ego, which by the way, Kurt Russell reprised his voice for Ego. As they're fighting, Stark finds out that Bucky is gone. Completely gone. Don't know where
because
he
he did.
is. He left.
Didn't they suggest that he get rid of the seed? Get the seed out of there?
Yeah, they were going to.
And that's when they found out that he was gone.
That's when they found out he was gone, and that he was there to eliminate Quill, because that was his mission, to eliminate
No, he
Quill.
pretty much said it. He pretty much said it a little bit earlier when they were talking about what they were going to do.
Yes.
After Hope had already let him out, and they're talking about what they're going to do and everything else. So they, well, we could do this, we could do this. Thor's like, no, we need to do this, and he's like, we need to kill him.
Yeah, we need to kill him. We need to take him out.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what he was there for. That was his mission.
But while Hank Pym is talking to him, he's just like, listen, Ego's using you. Don't let him use you. He's talking to him like a father.
Yeah.
What would you do if this was your daughter type thing?
Mm-hmm.
Which is why Wendy was there, and he feels alone.
Yeah, I liked what the kid said when Hank first started talking to him.
Yep.
I came back to Earth because I wanted to be with my mom, but now that I'm here, I feel even more alone.
Yep.
And that was, and Hank grabbed that and ran with it and says, well, you know what? We can be your family.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everything, join us, work with us, help us to survive this, and, be part of our family. And, kind of a cheesy storyline, but really, really worked well for what was going on in this episode.
Yes. But
there's times where they do that, and it just really sucks because the timing and the scenario doesn't work. But for this one, it really, really worked well.
yeah, well, the other thing is, and this is the other part of the storyline here, is that Bucky is off in the distance with his sniper rifle, ready to take Quill out.
There's on him. Yep.
And I loved what Stark was doing, because Stark basically used Steve Rogers to get him to not do it.
Well, the quote was, if you don't mind me skipping ahead just a little bit
please,
here.
by all means, because that's the part we're at.
The quote is, damn, 50 years later and Steve Rogers is still saving my ass.
Yep. Because he basically said Steve Rogers would never let Bucky take that shot.
Well, because he says, Bucky, or Winter Soldier actually, at this point says, you don't know me. And he's like, no, I don't. But Steve did.
Yes.
And both Hank and him, you need to know what strings to pull and when to pull them.
Absolutely.
And what I thought was really smart on his part was that not only did he block out Winter Soldier's handler, but he still had to where Bucky could hear what Hank was saying to Quill.
Oh yeah.
So he was getting the whole side of that conversation plus the conversation from from the other side without the interference of his handler. So, just the way that they played that was really, really cool.
It really was. And it was done very, very well.
Yeah.
And
then, the whole time that you've got this going on,
the battle is ensuing.
A major battle going on. And I'll tell you something. When they first flashed to the scene, right after they said, well, he's landing and he's right outside our front door.
Yep.
They flash to that scene. They're out in the desert, and there's this gigantic row of M1A2 Abrams tanks.
Yeah.
I mean, there had to have been 100 of them, if not more.
There were a lot
lined up there, and I had an instantaneous flashback.
Party, fired a weapon.
No. My flashback was to just before we crossed the border.
Yep.
For Desert Storm, because that's the way we were. Like, granted, we were in triangle formations or arrow formations, but that was as far as you could see in that direction. As far as you could see in that direction, that was all you saw was armored vehicles, tanks, and Bradleys.
I remember seeing those on the news. The way
that was all you could see.
It's crazy.
And so I had a little flashback there.
Little PTSD there.
Yeah, a little PTSD, kind of creeping up on me on that one.
Yeah, just a little.
This battle scene, we have talked about some of the most epic battle scenes that we have ever seen in the Avengers universe with, Civil War and the fight with Thanos, Endgame, and even Falcon and Winter Soldier and all the other series that we've reviewed.
Yep.
We have had some epic freaking fight scenes.
Yeah, this one was a good one.
Up to this point, all the ones that we've seen, pretty much, could be pulled off by use of humans.
Yes.
Okay. This battle scene is the only battle scene that I can think of that the only way you could pull it off was by animation.
Um,
This battle scene was so freaking epic.
yeah, I mean, I would put it up with the final battle with Endgame, because that, I mean,
But
that
I'm
was all
saying,
CGI too.
but what I'm saying is you could do that with CGI, but this battle scene I don't think you could pull off. Well, you know what? Come to think of it, the final battle scene on Black Panther,
Yeah,
kind of the same. So maybe they could.
very similar.
But I mean, still, this is one of the most epic battle scenes we've ever seen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've got Ego creating millions of egos from the dirt and the sand.
Yeah.
He's creating a big giant mountain of himself so he can,
Oh God.
he can plant the seed, which he does get. He does.
He
get
was
the
shown. Well, he almost got. The giant version of him that he was hiding inside of shows just how big of an ego had.
There you go. So when obviously we're seeing Thor and Goliath and all of them getting their asses handed to them, but they're still fighting. You know, they're not stopping, which is good. But it's getting too much for them, which is how Hank and Quill arrive just in time with Lawson to intercept the seed and go, let's do this. And that's
I hope you're right, kid.
And that's how Quill also finds out that Ego killed his mother, which was
now
still the same turning point.
Is that what
Guardians 2?
Is that what really happened?
Yes.
He because I couldn't remember if he actually did or not, or if that was just part of the storyline.
Yeah. So what happened was he mentioned that he had killed Quill's mother, and he needed that to happen so he could commence with the expansion. But now you're just,
because the mother never would have gone along with it.
Right. Now you're just pissing him off even more. And he decides to absorb the seedling himself so he can use it to destroy Ego's physical form.
Right.
And once that happens, you start seeing all the dirt and the dirt egos and everything collapsing and falling apart and everything like that. They won the day. The battle's over. Ego's destroyed. Is he dead entirely? I don't think so.
Yeah, we don't know yet.
You know, the planet is technically still alive, so
right.
Ego can come back at any time.
Well, and even Thor says that.
Yes.
Even Thor even says that here right at the end of the episode.
Yes. Which ends up ending at the Pym residence, the same house that he was in with Ant-Man in the original MCU timeline. And Wendy gives Goose to Quill as a gift. So Quill and Hope have this brand new pet, which is a cat, which is not a cat. Because Goose is, you don't want to mess with that thing, that's for sure. So at the same time, Stark lets them know that the Winter Soldier's in the wind, but he believes that Bucky is still alive somewhere deep inside him, because he was able to.
He believes that he got through to him, and that even though the Winter Soldier was out there, Bucky was with him.
Yes. And then Thor says, all right, I got to go, guys. I love this party, but I got to fix the 9 realms. Because, Ego was still
destroyed here. He's still out there.
Yeah, he's still out there. We need to take him down. And Hank Pym goes, whoa, hold it, cowboy. We're a team now.
You kind of got a team thing going on here.
Yeah, we're willing to help. So therefore, a new Avengers team in the multiverse is formed.
Well, I think y'all should suit up then.
Yep, suit up, rock and roll. So in the long run, a lot of tie-ins to the original Marvel
Yeah.
movies here. A lot of characters coming back out throughout the MCU that they brought back into this one. Most of them all reprise their roles.
Mhm.
But you also have some new kids. You got the kids doing the kids' voices, so on and so forth. So this was an expensive episode.
Right.
Just expensive. So, with episode 2 in the books,
Mm-hmm.
my friend, how many question marks do you give it?
This one I'm giving. I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 4.
Nice.
I'm going to go ahead and give this one 4 question marks.
All right.
I didn't have to think as much.
Okay.
For some reason, I don't know why, I didn't have to think as much. Maybe it was because my brain was still active from episode 1 or whatever. I don't know. It didn't drag. The timing and pacing and everything in this episode was perfect.
Oh, yeah.
I really love the connection between Quill and Hope. It's not something that you would expect, and the way that everything happened there and the way they brought Hope into this to get Quill's side of the story out. Because, otherwise they just would have said, okay, Thor, go ahead and go out and kill the kid, that kind of thing. So it was great. Like I said, the pacing was great. Really, really enjoyed the storyline and even enjoyed the callbacks.
Oh, there were a lot of callbacks.
And there were a crap load of callbacks. I'm sure I probably missed out a lot of them too.
Yeah.
And everything. But it was a good episode. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 4.
All right. Well,
Nakaya gives it a 4 as well.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to be giving it a 4 as well. So, everything that you mentioned, it kept going. The callbacks, the fights, everything. It was great.
It's epic battle.
I actually
Epic
think
battle scene.
between these episodes, I'm liking season 2 better than season 1 right now, and I loved season 1. Season
Yes, you
1
did.
was phenomenal. I even said that. So far, season 2 is beating season 1 with their storytelling, and I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot.
And that's why I said at the beginning that season 2 is set up to blow season 1 out of the water.
Absolutely, hands down.
If they keep doing what they're doing now through 3 through 9,
hands
gonna
down.
be hands down the best set.
Now,
And you told me this. You told me before the show that they have already announced
season
something
3.
for season 3 for what if.
Season
So
3 will be coming. That's for sure. I'm looking forward to it. So here's what's going to happen, because that's the end of the show. But we also have to promote the other shows. Tomorrow, live at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, is the Sully Show, where we've got a wonderful prep sheet already planned out. Lady Death has been ever so gracious with helping us with that. And also, our second show, Avenger Pretenders, will be going straight through. After we do What If, we're going to be doing 2 episodes each for What If. But tomorrow, Echo premieres. All 5 episodes of Echo premiere. So once we're done What If, we're going to go right into Echo, because holy crap, they screwed everything up on us. They really did. They just decided, bleh, vomit.
But that's
shows.
That's okay. We can work with it. We're flexible, even though I'm not flexible. We're flexible that way.
Yes, we are flexible that way. So once we're done these, and I think the last show for What If is, really, because there's 9 episodes, the last show will be a 2-hour episode for Avenger Pretenders, because we got to go over the last 3 episodes. Oh, right. It's going to suck. But at least we'll be able to get it done, give our opinions, do our walkthroughs, say our liners and jokes and all that good stuff, and then go right into Echo the following week. So bear with us. We know you can watch all 5 episodes of Echo right now as of tomorrow night. So bear with us. Let's get What If done first, and then we'll get into Echo. But otherwise, we will be live tomorrow for the Sully Show at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and Avenger Pretenders will return next Monday for episodes 3 and 4 of What If. For the redneck himself, there he is, JT Hollis. I am Sully. We are the Geek and the Redneck. He's the Redneck. I'm the Geek. And thank you for tuning in to Avenger Pretenders, Season 2 of What If. We will see you guys tomorrow. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and Avengers Assemble.
Night night. No, that would be Avengers Disassemble.
Disassemble. I like it.